Okay, so I'm driving down the street and I'm passing O'Reilly Auto Parts, and I'm looking at the S on the end of parts, thinking, wow, something looks weird, but I know that's what it said. And looking at the sign, I'm like, something's different. The sign changed. It's now, I remember it just being a white sign with green lettering, and now it's a red sign with white and green lettering. And I'm seriously considering going in and asking them when they changed their sign, because that could be all it is, so let's find out. Shall we? Stupid question.
What's up?
When did you guys change your sign out front?
When did we?
Yeah, did you?
I don't know. You mean that street sign?
Yeah, the one O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah, I think it's always been that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Have we ever changed it?
Is the sign new out front? I know it's a stupid question. I'm the guy that asks stupid questions.
That's not a stupid question.
They changed it like 2 months ago because the lights were broken.
So it did used to be white and just green lettering.
2 months ago? I was even working here and I didn't notice.
2 months or like 6 months ago. I don't remember, but they did.
2 months ago or 6 months ago. Well, that
Somewhere
itself
in that
could be
neighborhood.
interesting, I suppose. So they did change it. All right. I'm just noticing it now. All right. Yes. Might be a hum here. I've been wanting to get this out. I've been talking with some people about it, and I'd like to actually do a show on it. I may do that. Recently, I'd say maybe a month. And not so much right this second either, but I'd say the last 3 weeks. I've been really wanting to just sit down, watch a movie, and just distract myself. Do it with baseball a little bit here and there, but I seem to have control over it, and I think that's total bullshit. But recently I've been wanting to just put this down, pack this up, mail it to somebody who's doing Mandela Effect videos, and be done with it. But why? How do you do that? You can't go back to the ball. I tried it in 2015 when this stuff started hitting me. I decided I'm just going to go about my life. This is ridiculous. And for 2 weeks I was very depressed. Until I just went, on YouTube and I'm checking things out, and this Flat Earth video comes out and I'm watching it and I'm like, you know what? I just got excited again, and it wasn't about the Flat Earth. I mean, it was just the idea, okay, that this was something that isn't true. And I figured out that it's not true. And I went back to it. And I was wondering why I was depressed. So that happened in 15. And I'd say 17 again, early 17. But I pushed on. I've witnessed and I've been called, so I'm going to do what I can do to show truth. And I don't even know what the truth is. It's hard enough trying to explain to people the Mandela Effect and what it probably is, or what the closest thing it could be. Because, I love my theories. I love what's going on with that. I'm doing well. There's people out there, I'm not naming names, I like these people, so I'm not naming names. And that's another thing, I'm going to have 10 different topics here, and I'm not going to get anything out. we disagree with things. I mean, disagree. I don't know if it's disagree. This person doesn't feel that my theory about A is true, but A is working. I don't feel that this person's theory on B is true, but for them, it's working. Okay? The little clique that I'm in, and I'm trying to make it grow. And I'm making it grow because a lot of these people, I want to make it grow because a lot of these people don't necessarily believe the same thing. And we all get along just fine. We might have our little moments here and there, but we all get along fine. There's no fighting and very little ego and very I'm right, you're wrong going on. Okay, it's, I'd love to give examples that make it easier for you to understand. It's the echo. I keep stuttering because of the echo. That push to get out, it's not really there anymore. Now, I was just talking to Scarab Performance, and he said they're guaranteed 100%. He's sure there was a shift. And I felt something within the last week, and it's been very mild. My shifts seem to be more mild, as far as I'm not fighting off the negativity so much. And, they said there was a shift. And I've been telling people since last February, look, I've been practicing, I've been experimenting with creating. And at first I failed. And I told people, yeah, I failed. This is why I failed, because I went out there to get something I truly didn't want. That's what happened. I went out there to get something I really didn't want. And it didn't happen. So what happened? I actually did create. It created me not getting something. And then learning from that and trying to figure out why. And that's where I came up with, well, what was in my head wasn't lined up with my heart. And then, so I've started creating, and I believe that. And I'm tired of saying, well, I feel like I've created, but maybe it's just a coincidence. Or maybe the computer program is making me think I created properly. I don't think it knows that much of what's going on down here. Down here. I don't know why that's in parentheses in my head. Well, I'm coming up with all kinds of stuff with that. No, I even think the background people that you run into that are, they're looking at you. I think they may know. I think they may know what they are. I think they're sentient. They're conscious. Do they have souls? To me, that's what sentient is. And why not? It's a creation from God. Why would God create something and then just poof it out? I mean, look, infinite, so yeah, somewhere. But I feel like we got to push on. A lot of people I've spoken with have been wanting to get out. I've noticed some people have got out, or at least have tried. And the handful of people that I spoke with are still doing it, but they really feel like, I don't know if it's they want to break or if they just want to get out altogether, because I would love nothing more than to find me a little house with a white picket fence. And if you were listening to the last video, of course you know, you get locked in. You're locked in and you have to do whatever they say because you have the mortgage, the wife, and the car payment, and all these bills. But the point is, look, fight. You wake up and you're like, I'm done with Mandela. I'm done with all this changing, shifting stuff, bullshit. You're getting pulled back into 3D reality. And I say fight it. I don't necessarily mean fight, okay? But this could be that battle. For me, it was a battle. And I won because here I am doing this. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Doesn't matter. Now, I'm still doing those shows. And the shows that I do, I know I started 2 a.m. Wednesday mornings, but I'm going to be going on whenever. If I get a guest, I'm going to tell them when I like to go on, because that's when I'm up. And there's a few people across the country that are insomniacs, so. And after you experience the Mandela effect and some of the other things that I've experienced, yeah, you have trouble sleeping sometimes. And I feel like I might have gotten too complacent with a lot of this. I'm like, okay, physical reality is malleable. It shifts, it changes, and you can control it. Let me buy a bunch of junk and put it around me and start a radio program. I'm only doing this to get the truth out. And that's all any of us are doing. And I'm just saying, as far as getting that feeling that you really just want to just put it away. And that could be some sort of download. And the only reason, and I just use that term, I don't know what other term to use. I don't know that it's a download, it's a program, whatever it is. It could be information from a higher power. It happened all at the same time. Everybody wanted to get out at the same time. And that really struck me. Some kind of pulled out a little. I did. Of course, I couldn't edit and put the stuff up I wanted, like you've been getting all them old videos. And I tried not to do too many videos, because I know I couldn't put them up, not the way I wanted to. Now that I can, but I gave myself a little break. But no, because even when I wasn't making videos, I kept in contact with the people that are involved in the Mandela effect. Not just on YouTube. So, but I'm saying fight. Fight that urge. And I'm down at the bar and I'll be talking with somebody and I'm like, I should really bring up the yield sign and Sex in the City. And my God, I really don't feel like getting into it. If they see the shirt, if they want to ask, they can ask, and then I'll go ahead. But I did that today, and I did Yield Sign, Sex in the City, and the Monopoly Man. Girl said she heard about it, and hey, I'll make sure I put this video with the girl and the two girls. I'm gonna put it on right now.
I think it's from Norway. Called Dark or Darkness or something, and I think it's based off of that because it's a whole time travel type of altering history type of thing.
Yeah? Do you remember how many people were in the car when JFK was murdered? No? Do you know what color a yield sign is?
The yield sign is yellow.
Do you agree?
I'm like, I don't know, you're freaking me out with the phone.
I'm taping you.
I know, that's how I'm like.
Well, I'll explain why later, and if you don't want me to, I won't. I'll erase it right in front of you. I don't care. The yield sign hasn't been yellow since '72. Why would you think it's yellow? It's actually red. It's an upside down triangle that's red. I remember a yellow diamond.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so I'm old.
No, it has nothing to do with it. Honest to God, that has nothing to do with it. We all remember a yellow yield sign.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
That's what it was. I mean, there's a TV show with 4 girls that run around New York City called Sex something. I can't remember.
Sex in the City.
It's
in the city.
What is it? In or and? I mean, that's
And.
okay.
Sex
It is
in the
and
city.
in this timeline. Did you hear that? And I remember in, and many people remember in.
I thought it was in.
In. It was in. It
I
actually.
always thought it was in until I watched it again. I watched the old shows again.
And you realize,
it's Sex
and you just, and your mind just turned around and went, "Oh, I looked at that wrong. I misremembered." In truth, and this is just a theory, but I'll tell you right now, it's pretty accurate. It's probably not right, but it's pretty accurate. In truth, what happened was your consciousness is the only thing that's real. And it was in a timeline where it was Sex in the City. I'm 100% sure it was Sex in the City. But our consciousness shifted. Now, whether you did it yourself individually, which I believe you can, I have myself, or if you did it as a mass shift, which has just happened yesterday, from what I understand. There was one at the beginning of January, end of January, beginning of March, end of March. I mean, that's how it's been happening. But they're closer together. In 15, I recognized 2 shifts. One in March, one in September. And then last year was a couple more in between the March and September. March and September seem to be the biggest shifts. That's what I'm calling them. It's a terminology. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's right. Nothing's real. Nothing they told you is true. Physical reality is malleable. It shifts and it changes. I mean, I could sit here and tell you about all the, like, did the Monopoly man wear glasses, a monocle, or nothing at all? Does he? The monocle? Remember a monocle? He's never worn a monocle in this timeline. In this timeline, he's never worn a monocle. But you're not wrong. You experienced consciousness, reality, in a timeline where you wore a monocle. It's that simple.
I see what you're saying.
I ate Skippy peanut butter, not often. I ate Jif a little bit, and I ate Jiffy my whole life because it was the cheapest and it sucked. Jiffy never existed. I mean,
I don't know about that one. I really was too much into peanut butter, so.
But that.
I remember Jiffy too.
Yeah, it's amazing some of the stuff that goes on. You cannot find residual evidence of Jiffy, but you can find residual evidence of some other things. Because what happened was somebody else remembered it that way, shifted, and then on a job painted the word Anheuser wrong across the street in the 1890s or early 1900s. It's across the street. There's a letter that's wrong. It's AI over there. It's never been AI in this timeline, and I couldn't tell you how it was ever spelled. I never really looked at it. I mean, Chevrolet is spelled differently to me. The Ford symbol has changed 5 times in the last 3 years for me. Well, see, the thing is, and when I noticed the first change, it was that little curly Q in the middle. I'm like, where'd that come from? I was a little more involved in that. It wasn't the first thing I noticed because I saw something else, but it would get too complicated to explain. I'm not entirely upset with that. I mean, especially since I knew the guy, they expect me to ask stupid questions, right? They're not stupid questions. We know that. But I'm not entirely upset with that. The girl couldn't remember if it was 2 months or 6 months ago. I don't know. I think that's a pretty big deal. She didn't know how to answer at first, which I thought was strange. But apparently it was white with green lettering, and, and it's because the lights were flickering, and that's why they shut it off. Well, all right, I'm off. People were in the car when JFK was murdered. 3, 5, and 2. The correct answer is, the survey says, 6.
There were 3 people in the car?
In this timeline, there's 6. You're not wrong. Your consciousness resided in a timeline where there was 3. My consciousness resided in a timeline where there was 4. His timeline, he resided in a consciousness where it was 5, and I don't know how many you said. You said 2, so Jackie was driving.
Yeah.
And
my girl. Oh, Jackie was in the fucking back. My main bitch. Also, it was 20 years before my timeline ever started.
Oh, well, that could be true too, but still, you'd know the difference between 3 and 6.
I would hope so.
Okay.
Typically.
There's actually 6 in this timeline. In this timeline, there's always been 6. It didn't change. You changed.
Sometimes I see doubles.
Oh, well, what are you drinking? Riley thing. I'm not upset about that because, number one, I want to know, if it's a definite Mandela or not, definite effect, or if they did change it. It was a little strange with the whole time thing and all, but no, if it's not, now if every O'Reilly Auto Parts sign in the country is red because this one sign was, blinking off and on, I'd find that a little strange. But I'm not all over the rest of the country. check your O'Reilly Auto Parts store and let me know if the sign's red with green and white writing. Man, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter because we already know, right? So what are we doing about it now? Are we supposed to be doing something about it? Are we supposed to be creating? Are we supposed to be just living our lives and not really being concerned about it? Or are we supposed to be concerned about it? I mean, you know, are there messages? You know, and if there are messages, well, what are they? You know, and it's a shame because if there are changes being manipulated, which we believe there are, I feel there are, or whatever, some of them are coming from positive, some of them are coming from negative. So how do you discern which is which? I just wrote that book. That's the proof.
Oh, you did?
I just sent the final draft to the publisher. It'll be here on the 12th, 13th, or 14th. But the Mandela effect is not the only thing I experienced in 2015. There was a good 8 or 9 other weird paranormal supernatural experiences that took place that I just wrote about in this book. And
cool.
the book's fantastic as far as I'm concerned, except that I am all over the place. That was my writing style for this. I also write like I'm talking, so it's not perfect, English. And I told the editor that I said, look, do me a favor. Don't take away the spirit. Don't take away my heart. There's going to be sentences that are, you could absolutely make sound better. But if it sounds like I'm talking, just let it go. So, but, she did a great job. This morning I sent it off, the final draft and everything. So, very excited. Thank you. Very excited. This should be fun. But physical reality is malleable. It shifts, it changes, and I feel and I believe that I've been doing it. You can actually create what you want. At least that's my opinion. Other people don't think so. And I personally, I think that's why they're having a hard time right now because they don't.
Or just like on accident?
No, I mean, and it's funny. I've never done acid. People keep telling me I should. I was like, why would I? I experienced the stuff without it. How you guys doing? Best day of my life. Yeah, really. She told me that she found it. She heard about the Mandela effect on the X-Files. And they made it look stupid. And Google tells everybody it's misremembering. And Snopes or whatever it's called is, totally debunking it. Forget Wiki or whatever that Wikipedia. Forget that. It's still in the same thing. Can I get you guys? I know I've said it. There's people I stay away from listening to on YouTube because I feel like they're fear-mongering, or I've said they're fear-mongering. And every once in a while I click in if the title looks interesting or if it looks like it's not going in that direction. And it's not even that they're fear-mongering. It's like, I feel like, well, I'm guilty of this. It's not right. I shouldn't say they're fear-mongering because they're really not. I mean, it may seem that way. What I think is happening is I think there are parts of them, aspects of them, stuck in 3D. And, I mean, that goes for all of us right now. I don't know if we're stuck in 3D or, if something's definitely different. We all know that. So, I mean, is it different and that's just the way it is? Because, like I always said, it was always like this, we just never noticed. And it's not, it hasn't always been like this. If we haven't noticed this, then no, we really believed we lived in a solid 3D world and, that was linear and the whole bit. I think we might just be listening to aspects of them, parts of them that we need to listen to. That might, if we're listening to that stuff, then there might be something there that we have to listen to. I steer away from it. I'm not going to pollute my mind with that stuff. And maybe listening to it is going to trigger you to stop listening to it. I mean, that could be. But I don't necessarily think they're fear-mongering. And I want to steer myself away from stating that. It's more that they're just deeper into three-dimensional than some others. found a Mandela effect. It's on the advertisements behind the batter. Stanley now has that line through the end, which makes it look like that upside down V.
3:54 in the second half. The other person last
It should be coming on. There you go.
this ball is held off.
Now, I'm not saying I ain't looked it up, so I don't know if it was that way forever, or if it's changed, or if they just changed the logo, because that's always a possibility.
I got chilled. I am so excited about that. I feel like I hit the big time. I've had chills before. They were never this good. I don't know, he's pretty good, but it didn't upset me. I thought it would get me all upset and I'm going to retaliate and all that. I just delete you from my channel. Why are you listening to my stuff? And there's no way you listen to the whole video. Not a chance. You have no idea what you're talking about, Shilly. Of course, you'll never see my channel again. I can't help you. I'm not bearing witness to all this stuff for you. Okay? Piss off. That was mild. I want to read it. I think. I don't know. I don't really care. I really don't. It's just, what a waste of your time. Call me a fake. I'm a fake because of the way I talk. I'm a fake because of the way I present myself. And something about my last name. My channel's name is Suso, which is not my last name. It's my nickname. Suso is my nickname. Everybody's always called me Sus, or Suso, depending on which timeline you're in. And he did say, that you associate yourself with all the other fake Mandela people. You're not going to see the comment because I'll be getting rid of that. I don't understand. They got to be being paid. I mean, if you're not affected by the Mandela effect, move on. There are tens of thousands of crazy people in the world that you should probably stay away from because they're crazy. You didn't help me, Annie, by commenting like that. Next time, if you have some constructive criticism, maybe you'll help me. Maybe you'll get me away from this and make me sane again by coming on and calling me names and telling me I'm a fake. I'm one of the most real, I can't speak. I'm one of the most realist people, I still can't speak, on YouTube. I'm fake. You think I'm fake? Use it for entertainment purposes only. I keep stuttering because the echo's in my ear. And I'm hearing that, and I should probably take these off. Oh, what a joke. I felt sorry for the person, but I don't. At first I was angry, and look, Buddha got angry, Jesus got angry, and the name, okay, this person's name is I Am. How sad. How sad for this shilly little person. I'm going to quickly add, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good position where I'm doing well. I ain't doing great. I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I ever have. And it's because of the position I've put myself in. But guess what? I'm working hard. There's hard work behind that. I'm just not sitting on my ass. I'm working all the time. I'm doing 60 hours a week and 50 to 60 hours a week. And I lowball. I only pay myself for 40. I'm the finance manager here. That's basically what I've called myself because that's what I'm doing. So it's not easy work. It's not easy work, but I'm really enjoying it. This is something I've always wanted to do. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying it. So there's just a constant flow because I'm enjoying it. That's where my energy is. That's the energy I'm putting out. That's what I'm surrounding myself with, and that's what I'm experiencing. Even looking at the news to see what everybody else is doing and what's going on is bringing that into your reality. Okay? You're hurting yourself by just checking it out. That simple.